JamesOBrien, How to Be Right, in a World Gone Wrong. Immerse yourself in a thought-provoking journey through the book summary of JamesO'Brien's How to Be Right, in a World Gone Wrong. Confront the prevalent societal challenges of stereotypes and biased beliefs, as O'Brien unravels the distorted logic that lays the foundation for discrimination. With real-life examples from his radio talk show experiences, the author sheds light on the deeply rooted issues of immigration, prejudice against Muslims, Brexit, and the influence of misleading media outlets. Explore the power of information and truth in dismantling popular yet flawed notions, and venture toward a more rational and inclusive worldview.
The Power of Generalization. The book discusses the persistent issue of generalizing individuals and groups based on their affiliations or backgrounds. The author shares his experiences of growing up amid IRA bombings and how the same logic is being applied to Muslims today. News and media outlets often use fear-mongering tactics to espouse their views and stereotypes. The author, a radio host, has received calls from individuals who generalize Muslims, and he engages them in conversations to dispel their misconceptions. The book highlights how we need to move beyond popular conceptions and stereotypes to see individuals as they are, rather than regarding them as a subgroup of some overarching paradigm. The Reality of Brexit. The book explores how the lack of scrutiny in the mainstream media led to the successful promotion of unsupported arguments by the pro-Leave faction during the Brexit campaign. The author of the book challenges the lazy opinions shared on social media and attempts to bring facts to the table by questioning them. He uses his radio show as a platform to ask callers to defend their positions with details and facts. The author encounters various callers who had voted to leave, and he challenges their reasons for doing so. One such caller was Andy, from Nottingham, who admitted that he had no valid reason to exit the EU when asked to name a single EU law that he was being forced to obey. However, Andy shifted the focus to immigration, which he claimed had been harming the economy, with no statistical evidence backing this up. During the conversation, it turned out that what really bothered Andy was the sight of mobs of immigrants who were not willing to integrate. The author then asked how leaving the EU would change anything about the supposed mob of immigrants who were already living in Nottingham. By the end of the conversation, Andy admits that he voted to leave because he doesn't like mobs of people or following laws he doesn't know anything about. While the conversation may seem comical, the book highlights the damage caused by Brexit to small businesses like Andy's and the pro-Leave faction's continued promotion of unsupported arguments. The origin of anti-homosexuality stance. The argument against homosexuality often comes from a moral standpoint, but the basis of morality is controversial. The belief that homosexuality is a personal lifestyle choice is usually raised by male callers, to which the question of when they chose to be straight is posed. The Bible has been used to condemn homosexuality, but it is unclear whether the Old and New Testament is unambiguous on the issue. Leviticus chapter 18, verse 22, is often cited, but other verses in the same text are also considered abominations, such as wearing clothes made of two different threads or working on the Sabbath. Winterval and the misconception of political correctness. George Orwell's 1984 highlights society's susceptibility to rage fueled by unclear matters. The Winterval controversy, a prime example of such redirectable anger fueled by tabloids such as Daily Mail. A harmless idea introduced by Mike Chubb in Birmingham to celebrate all end-of-year festivities lasting from October to December for cost-cutting purposes was mistakenly represented as an attempt to replace Christmas with a politically correct agenda. This example also applies to allegations of taking down Union Jack flags to appease Muslims, another distortion of facts fueled by sensationalist papers. Traditional values worth erasing. The book explores how some traditional values are not worth preserving. The author highlights past flaws in social values such as rape and sexism and emphasizes the need for equality of the sexes. Additionally, the book reveals the influence of online figures like Jordan Peterson, who advocates for enforced monogamy as a means of sexual redistribution. The author calls for an end to these misguided beliefs and promotes a future of gender equality. The fallacy of upholding some traditional values. While some people argue that traditional values are being eroded due to immigration and political correctness, the truth is that not all traditions are worth keeping, especially those that are oppressive towards women. This is exemplified by past social values that condone marital rape and discrimination against women. Despite progress being made, many still perceive gender equality as a threat to men's rights, as seen in the opinions of Canadian psychology professor and internet sensation, Jordan Peterson. Peterson's advocacy for enforced monogamy and sexual redistribution has gained a following among the alt-right movement and those worried about men's rights. However, such concerns ignore the reality of rampant sexism being a precursor to fascism. The rise of Trump's tactics. Trump's political success lies in telling people what they want to hear. He appeals to the white people, offering a scapegoat for their anger while blurring the line between lies, truths, and alternative realities. His use of simple slogans and catchphrases allows his supporters to turn off their brains. The fake news tactic quickly gained popularity in Britain, and people started using it to win arguments. Trump's past behavior, including mocking the disabled journalist and Gold Star family, and bragging about assaulting women, is a testament to his character. The author concludes that Trump's political rise has demonstrated that politicians can go far by telling people what they want to hear.
As you reach the end of this captivating summary of How to Be Right in a World Gone Wrong, take stock of the vital takeaways that illuminate the dangers of stereotyping and ignoring facts. By tackling the misconceptions and generalizations that plague contemporary issues such as immigration, Brexit, and discrimination against Muslims, JamesOBrien showcases the importance of challenging flawed and unchecked ideas that can lead to societal discrimination. Keep in mind that while traditional values might be romanticized, the essence of progress is to recognize when it's time to evolve, embrace social change, and abandon the shackles of a narrow-minded past. Armed with this newfound understanding, liberate your perspective and embrace a more rational, logical, and compassionate outlook on the world.